Hey, I'm ZSH Plays. Welcome to the grand tour of the Alpine Mountain Zoo. Perched on the side of a mountain somewhere in Central Europe, the Alpine Mountain Zoo is the result of 11 months of building. I think it might be the most detailed zoo that we've ever built. It contains 3 major areas themed around the Alps, the Himalayas, and prehistoric Europe. Now we're going to take a tour. For the entrance to the zoo, I thought we'd do something a little bit different to what we do normally. I thought we'd actually base this one on a real zoo entrance. So this is based on the entrance to Birmingham Zoo in America. It was pretty tricky to build with all these curving roofs and everything, but I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. Got our ticket booths here. We can go and buy a ticket before we go in. And if we take a look back this way, we actually have a car park back there now, which we never had before. So we'll get our ticket and head on in to the entrance area of the zoo. Again, I wanted to try something a bit different here. Normally we have a big entrance plaza with some really impressive habitats in it. So for this zoo, I took inspiration from a couple of zoos in Belgium that I went to last year. Firstly, Plankendaal, which opens in a sort of clearing in the forest kind of area, which I've tried to replicate here in terms of the feel of it. And then Paradise, which has a really cute mixed raccoon and skunk exhibit. Nowhere near the entrance there. I just thought it'd be a good way to start off the zoo here. So you can see them in here. Got lots of climbing and stuff for the raccoons to do. Little huts for them to hide away in. We've got a baby raccoon there with their little pond that they can go swimming in. We've got one of the skunks as well. And then we've got this wooden walkway here, which I think works pretty nicely. And a good view of them when they're up on this kind of treehouse thing here as well. Around here we come to our next exhibit, which is for the alpine goats. You can see them there. Trying to keep this opening area quite low-key, rather than hitting people straight away with, you know, a massive penguin exhibit or whatever. Really trying to make this zoo feel very different to the others that we've built. We've got a map now as well. This is one of the things I've added in since the last episode. Just showing you everything that we have in here. I think including the butterflies, we've got, I think it's like 26 species in here now. And we've got lots of nice directional signage all over the zoo as well, so we can see where we're going. You can see the Himalayan Pass away in the distance there. That's probably the most impressive thing in this zoo. So away up here, we've got the Alps area. And then you can see the Himalayan Pass, Amur Forest, and Lost Wilds away down there. Let's check out the Alps first. We'll go up this way. There's a staff building away over here, just behind our Explorers Club monolith. And then around here we've got a little coffee stand, where you can get some waffles as well. Pretty sizable waffles, because I've used the pizza as a base for that. Got some more viewing into the alpine goats here. We get our first glimpse of the Seal Fjord here, where we'll be visiting later. Let's head up into the Alps. First habitat in here is one of the last ones that we built in the zoo for the wolves. We've got the Arctic wolves in here, putting on a nice display for us. Really long habitat here for them, so they've got plenty of room to run. It extends away past this bridge here, way onto the left. And then on the right, we have our beaver habitat. We can just see one there. And then another view into the wolves past this waterfall. I like how this works. There's a waterfall at the back of their habitat, and then the water comes down here and flows under the bridge and then into the beaver habitat under that glass panel there to make sure the beavers don't get out. And the zoo is kind of designed so that that huge Himalayan Pass tends to be visible wherever you are in the zoo. And then where I want it to not be visible, there's trees in the way. So we got another view into the wolves here and their water feature. And then another view into the beavers here. Just see one off in the distance. And then we come round to the Alpine house. So this has got loads of different alpine species in it. There's a habitat starting here, where the outside is where we are now, but then that actually extends inside the Alpine house building, so there's viewing in there as well. Another waterfall, lots of water features in this zoo. Can't see any of our badgers at this point, but we should be able to see them from inside the Alpine house. So let's go in here. This was pretty tricky to build, to get it to work like this. These raised paths here. There we go. There's a badger. Little baby. Looks like they're going into their indoor area. And there's a burrow cam here. And then a view of the indoor area here. There's one of the adults. Looks like the baby's going to go off to sleep. Should see them appear on the burrow cam. There we go. There's an upstairs here, which we'll check out in a bit. And then we've got alpine butterflies here. And then over here, we've got a couple of exhibits for salamanders and newts. Always tricky to spot in these things. Hopefully we'll have some smaller exhibits in Planet Zoo too. Well, there's one. Such a cool little animal. And then the crested newts here. These were even harder to see with the water. No, not today. Let's go to the butterfly walkthrough. So this is only small, but I've tried to make it as attractive as possible within the confines of it being in the middle of a big building like this. Lots of plants. There's one right there. And then more water features at the back. There's a lot of butterflies in here, but not many of them seem to be flying at the moment. And then this takes us through the exit here. We've got kind of the double doors to prevent the butterflies from getting out. That brings us back round to the beginning here. And then we can go upstairs and get an aerial view of the Ibex mountain and a lot of the rest of the zoo as well. Like how this works, with all the mountains in the background and the trees. Really good view. Even got some guests up here, courtesy of the little vista point here. And here we go. Here's the Ibex. Their habitat extends from the viewing path down there quite some way up this mountain. And this mountain's part of the map. That's why we used this map for this build, so we get that big mountain in the background. It's the map that came with the Twilight Pack. And then I thought we'd put a little photo display here of mainly just taken from episodes of Planet Wild. Quite often see photo displays of nature photography in zoos, so I thought that would work nicely. And you can see the Himalayan Pass away over there. And that's the Alpine area. There's a new little path here that we only put in recently, which takes people into the Himalayan Pass, but we're not going to take that route. We're going to head back to where we started and go this way into the Seal Fjord. So this is a huge lake for seals, partially inspired by the sheer size of the sea lion habitat at Yorkshire Wildlife Park, which is probably the biggest I've seen. It's a lot bigger than this, but I wanted to get an idea of that kind of scale here. A lovely view of one of our seals here on their enrichment platform. We've got a beach there. We've had a bit of a baby boom as well, as you can see. And then there's implied indoor space for them in that building there. I think it's a really kind of bucolic scene here. They've got a little island as well. And if we walk around here, we'll get into the first food and drink that's available in this zoo. Each one of these little Norwegian style houses has coffee and snacks and even cupcakes, I think. And past them, just before we get to the Himalayan Pass, is this little viewpoint here. So I've designed this so staff would stand up there and feed the seals. And then under here, you've got an underwater viewpoint where you can see them. And then out of here, we're into the Himalayan Pass. So this is the most heavily themed area, as you can see. Lots of Himalayan star flags, little prayer wheels and things like that. And a habitat for the red panda. And they can actually get out of this habitat and then through that tunnel up there into the indoor part of their habitat up there. You can see one of them inside right now. And one of the others might be about to use this tunnel. Let's take a look. Yep. There we go. So go all the way along here and then into that indoor area. And then to the left of that habitat is a habitat for the honey badger. To be honest, this should be a bit bigger. You can just see him plodding away back into their indoor area here. I really like the design of this habitat, but I do wish I'd made it bigger. Didn't realise quite how much space and complexity honey badgers need IRL to be happy. Okay, here he comes again. But I do love the honey badgers in the game. The way they bob up and down as they walk. They're so personable. He's got an indoor area as well. But I don't think he's going to be going in there because it's feeding time. This building took quite a lot of building. I have no idea how many pieces there are in this building. Each one of these little stones in the wall is an individual piece. But the noise my graphics card makes when I look at this building tells me it's a lot. I've got another habitat hidden away up this little passageway here. This is all based on a temple in Bhutan, I think it was. And I really want to get that feel of walking around the Himalayan temple here. And we've got the dole up here. You can see a couple of them away there, along with the Alpine house. And then the big mountain that gives the zoo its name. Got another one swimming in the water there. There's indoor viewing for these guys as well. So we'll head round, take a look at that. And on the way, we will check out the nilgai. A lot of the animals in this zoo we've never built for before. That was one of the reasons I picked a mountain theme for it. Just to make sure we had some new species to build for. And I like this nilgai habitat. This is the edge of the raised area where the temple sits, so the land falls away behind the fence at the back of the habitat. Gives you a really nice vista when you look at it. And they're kept in by this moat. They can swim, but the water is deep enough they're not able to scramble up the other side when they're in here. So if we head back round here, we can get into the interior viewing for the dole. And that also will take us up to the next level of this temple, which gives us a nice raised view of some of the other habitats, like the bears. So here's our indoor viewing for the dole. Positioned so you can see them when they're in the water. And then we can head through the rest of the temple and out into the raised area. So all these paths work. We should hopefully see some guests up here. Okay, well, not at the moment. But these are all actual paths so that the guests will walk around up here. There's our nilgai again. And if we cross along here. But here we go. We got our bear habitat down here for the Himalayan brown bear. Certainly the first time we've ever built for them. And you get a glimpse into our Lost Wilds area in the back as well. Now we can go through this door here to get us down into the rest of this area. There is an off-show exhibit for a snow leopard up there. And then an on-show exhibit for the snow leopard over there. Let's check out the bears first. Didn't see them at one end of the habitat, so hopefully they are in this part. Yeah, there's one. It's massive potatoes. But yeah, another kind of climbing frame for them there. Nice view through this glass viewing window here. And then it's a really sizable habitat stretching away down there, making sure they've got lots of space. Around here, we come to the final habitat in the Himalayan Pass area for the snow leopard. This is based on the snow leopard habitat at Plankendal. Took a lot of Belgian influence in this zoo, now I think about it. Oh, and great timing. There's the snow leopard. Not the biggest habitat, but loads of things for them to do. Got a cave at the back there, lots of enrichment items. One in Plankendal wasn't particularly large either, and the snow leopard was really active. Most active snow leopard I've ever seen. So I figured the habitat seemed to work well for them. So way down here is a pathway that takes us directly into the Lost Wilds, but the main entrance to that area is at the other end, so we're going to go there now. Back at the raccoons and skunks habitat, if we'd taken this path, then we'd be at the Amur Forest. This is basically an area for the tiger, although we do have wild boar in here as well. So let's go to the tiger exhibit first. This is based on the Amur tiger habitat at the Highland Wildlife Park in Scotland, which is one of my favourite tiger habitats that I've been to. Got all this raised pathways here. There's a viewing over there and a viewing over here for separate habitats for male and female tigers that can be joined so that they are both in the same habitat or both have access to both of them when that is kind of convenient for the zoo. You can see the join in a little passageway there. Don't see any tigers in this side of the habitat, so let's head on over to the other one. Here we go. And there's a tiger. We've got 2 tigers in here. Wanted a really natural habitat with those huge fences with the overhangs as well, to make certain that our tigers aren't going to be going anywhere. Keeper dicing with death as always. Sure they'll be fine. And coming off the tiger habitat, we come to the wild boar habitat. Another simple habitat here, designed to keep the wild boar at eye level for the majority of it. So we get a great view of one up here. And then if you peek over the wall, you can see them down in their little mud wallow as well. Got a little hut at the back as well. And this brings us round to the final area at the Alpine Mountain Zoo. It is not the largest zoo, but I've tried to pack it full of detail. This is the Lost Wilds, but before we go into there, we have the terrace. This is the zoo's main restaurant with a raised terrace that gives you a great view into the Lost Wilds. And it's a working restaurant in-game as well. We've got one of the restaurant pieces in here. Used it as an open kitchen. There we go. And if we go out onto the terrace, pretty nice view of the Przewalski's horse and the European bison there. I think that's a pretty good view to have while you have a snack. Let's head on down into the area. So out of the restaurant, you can see our signage there for the Lost Wilds. And this view, which is one of my favourite views in the zoo. I've designed both of these habitats so they have dry moats at the back, so you can't see an end to the habitat. It just seems to stretch off into the distance through more trees and onto the mountains in the background. One of our recent coming to say hello. We've got a lot of horses in here now. Oh, one of our little baby leucistic Weasants has grown up as well. Looking pretty cool. And then here we've got the hyena cave. Went very over the top with the theming on this, and I still really like it. It's got a kind of Flintstones feel to it, but I think it works nicely. And if you come in here, when the hyenas are in here, you get a good view of them. This whole area is based on Paleolithic Europe, so all the animals in this area are animals that used to live in Europe. Oh, here come the hyena. So we had cave hyena in Europe back then. And scientists' best guess, they're actually basically just spotted hyenas, possibly a subspecies of them, but essentially the same animal, so spotted hyenas fit in really well. European bison were prevalent back then, and we had wild horses as well, not Przewalski's horses, but very, very similar wild horses. So these animals all stand in nicely for those. I especially like the horse habitat, the way it looks here. And then it's the final habitat in the zoo. You can see the entrance up there, and a big statue giving a clue what's in there. Because in Paleolithic times, polar bears ranged much further south than they do now, down into Scandinavia a lot more regularly, potentially even as far south, oh, we've got another view of the hyena here, potentially even as far south as Britain. So I decided to make those the kind of climax of this area. Such a cool animal. It is the second time we've ended a zoo with a polar bear. Apologies for that, but I just thought they fit in perfectly here. Could have gone with lions, I guess. We had species of lions in Europe back then, but I thought the polar bear would work better. And there he is. Pretty sizable habitat, stretches away to there. And you can see the fences off behind those trees, and then it goes partly up the mountain there, and then down to the water feature here. Not the biggest polar bear habitat I've seen, but I think that's a decent size. It's within the recommended size range from the care manual for the polar bear. There we go. And that is the Alpine Mountain Zoo. And that is pretty much Planet Zoo for this channel. The next zoo that we build will be in Planet Zoo 2, which is very exciting. I do have 1 or 2 more ideas that I want to do in Planet Zoo before then. I'm sure you'll see those soon. Thank you so much for watching as always. Thank you especially to those of you who've joined the Explorers Club, and I'll see you again soon for some more Planet Zoo.